Hi guys, this is gsn.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the Realme 8i. We've already unboxed and reviewed the Realme 8, 8 Pro and 8 5G, and those have been some of the longest lasting battery phones that we had this year. Now let's see the i. It's basically a response for the Xiaomi Redmi 10, and it actually shares the same 50 megapixel camera on a budget. What budget? Well, $180. That's how much you're going to be paying for this device, maybe even less in some territories. This is the handset. It has a beautiful looking backside. It comes in two colors. It reminds me of a Huawei P series or a Huawei P Smart in the way it catches the light. It's quite interesting. Even though the light switches, these two lines always tend to stay the same. This is plastic, by the way, but a pretty nifty plastic with a slight mirror finish. Lovely camera island here. Let's fire the device up. You can tell it already has applied a screen protector, a plastic one from the factory, and the phone's selling points are, well, two: 50 megapixel main camera and 120 Hz refresh rate. And the price isn't half bad at $180. It was launched in September this year, and it completes the triplet of Realme 8 phones we had so far. Now it's an unboxing, so let's see what's in the box. We have an envelope here which holds the important information guide. This is probably the warranty, and a case, an interesting case because of how detailed the camera area is. It could have been just a simple hole here. Nope, it's a hole for each of the sensors. And there's also the metal key here, or there should be a metal key. Here it is, used to access the slots. We have a microSD card slot, by the way, and it's separate from the nano SIM one, so that's nice to see. We proceed further and find a charger which is quite hefty and has an USB-A connector. It's an 18-watt charger, just so you know, juicing up a 5000 mAh battery. It's clear that other reviewers have gone through the phone and checked it out. You can see here the cable, which is a bit I would say twisted, from USB-C to USB-A, and that's pretty much everything we have available inside the yellow box. This yellow identity we actually associate with the Poco brand and also with the Realme brand lately. Okay, so this is the actual phone. I would say it's quite long. That's my first impression. Long and with a mesmeric backside. Not the thickest in the world, but also not the slimmest. It's 8.5 millimeters in thickness and weighs 194 grams. Now let's talk about the screen. What we're dealing with here is an IPS LCD 6.6-inch panel, Full HD Plus resolution, and 120 Hz refresh rate. It has a 20:9 aspect, and also it has a punch hole here at the top side for the selfie camera. It also has a plastic protection, as mentioned before. And if you're wondering about the cheap CPU choice here, we have a MediaTek Helio. It's a MediaTek Helio G96. It's a 12 nanometer CPU octa-core, also found on the Vivo V23e. Let's see if the CPU Z app can find it. The IDA app can't, so I'm pretty curious about this one. Now, aside from the CPU, which we're going to confirm in a minute, we also have 4 or 6 gigs of RAM. As you can see, this app is also not able to confirm it, but you have to believe me, it's the MediaTek Helio G96. Okay, so as I said before, you can have 4 or 6 gigs of RAM. We're lucky enough to have the 6 gig of RAM version, and you can have it with 64 or 128 gigabytes of storage. We have the one with extra storage, UFS 2.1. There's also dedicated microSD card slot, and guess what? We also have virtual RAM, expansion of the RAM. You can do that from the settings. There are a lot of settings here, and basically you can add an extra of 3 gigs of RAM added to the phone. And I guess I'm going to have to dig in the settings to find it. Now, the battery is easily a selling point. As I said before, the Realme 8 have been killers in the battery department. Basically, what we have here is a 5000 mAh unit, which is good enough for 1.5 days or maybe 2, according to the first estimations. Charges at 18 watts. On the music side, we don't have an audio jack at the top, but we do have one at the bottom. It's here, close to the microphones, USB-C port, and the speaker, the solitary speaker. We don't have a stereo setup in this case. For security, we have this power button with a fingerprint scanner embedded, which I'm just putting to the test now for the unlock. not the snappiest in the world at first sight. And looking on the left side, we find the tray, SIM tray and nano SIM, and the two pretty small and slim volume buttons. Now, the colors in which the device is available in are space black and purple, and the purple one is actually kind of pretty. On the connectivity side of things, you're going to be getting here a Wi-Fi dual band. There's also 4G connectivity, Bluetooth 5.1, USB-C 2.0, Bluetooth 5.1, GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, and BDS. And I'm actually curious about one thing. NFC is here. In spite of what it says on other websites, we do have NFC for your payment needs. Now, this punch hole here, which is a bit large, hosts a 16 megapixel camera with f2.1 aperture, while at the back side this module includes a 50 megapixel shooter, which is the core one, accompanied by two other 2 megapixel cameras, one for macro, one for bokeh, accompanied by the LED flash here. Sadly, you can only shoot Full HD videos here. There's no love for 4K this time around. And let's see the camera interface. We have a 50 megapixel mode for full res shots. We have the more section with ultra macros, dual view videos, movie, text scanner. We have a portrait option, obviously, photo, video, with a special stabilization mode here, ultra steady. And I'm confirming that we only have Full HD, no trace of 4K, and a night mode, which is something you don't see every day on a sub $200 phone. Actually, it started to appear more and more often. This is an Android 11 phone with Realme UI 2.0 on top, and with up to 3 gigs of RAM, which you can add from the settings. I just wrote virtual RAM just to see what happens. Virtual RAM extended. Nope. So I'm going to have to dig in here and just find it. Maybe convenience tools, split screen, smart sideball, battery. Definitely not here. Would be weird to see it here. Well, who knows? Digital parental control, storage. No. Additional settings, language and region, process manager, deep cleanup, accessibility, recent task manager. You can actually show the RAM memory information for the recent tasks, which is kind of nice, to be honest. And you can see here that the RAM is being applied right now, 2 gigs, interestingly. So yes, there is virtual RAM applied here. That's pretty much it for this current phone. I would say that it's important to mention that the 50 megapixel sensor from here is a Samsung ISOCELL sensor, the tetracell sensor, the same one from the Redmi 10. Will be quite a battle in the budget segment. And just a quick look at the screen. I want to see those 120 Hz to really believe it. Auto rotate, it's on. Screen color mode, more. Refresh rate is set to auto, can be set to standard or high, which is 120 Hz, and should be felt here as well as in the scrolling. That's pretty much it. First impression, a long phone with a beautiful backside and a promising main camera. Also, I have an expectation which is very high from the battery life. We'll be back with a full review very soon. This has been the unboxing of the Realme 8i. Bye bye.